driveway to service the other house. Because we kind of went over the idea of both houses being serviced by the same roadway. I believe that was insufficient according to you guys.
Yeah. So just for everybody on board, the last time that this was in front of us was November 3rd, 2022. We did review a couple things on that. We had asked for some changes to the maps, which obviously you're here to discuss those.
Yep.
But we never got any further than accepting the sketch plan and then asked for some changes. So that's as far as we had gotten at the time. So I'll let you continue from there.
Sure. So I believe there was also an issue with the second building not having a C of O. We reached out to our structural engineer. He took care of a building inspection. We had Tim come out and re-inspect the home. All the issues that were addressed in our engineer's engineering report was addressed, which I believe included like an electrical inspection, some stuff with some of the stairways needed to be updated. All of that work has been completed. So now that that has been done, I believe the last ticket on this subdivision would be the access point. So on our map, I have a new note that is on the upper parcel. If you're looking at it just straight on, it says a proposed 12-foot wide, 40-foot long gravel driveway with a culvert as specified by the town highway department. So this is a 12-foot by 40-foot gravel driveway to service the existing house on proposed lot 2. So for the most part, this is just a proposed driveway. Okay. Just a simple driveway off the road for anybody to come in and park on to be able to access the house. And I'm kind of looking to you guys to see if there's anything else that needs to be addressed, any size specifications. This is just our engineers throwing something that's pretty box standard.
Yeah, the town's going to have specs for the driveway apron of what that needs to be.
Okay.
Just width and radius at the entrance.
Okay.
As I was looking at this and I was remembering back, I thought that there was some concerns about the shared easement for utilities going to both houses and that being on separate lot, or the proposed lot 2 utilities having to come through lot 1. And I understand that there's an easement there, but as I was looking at this and refreshing my memory, I was remembering that there was some discussion on that with just some long-term concerns about, property selling. How are we going to handle that if there's an easement and it's documented? Has that easement been established yet?
No. So this easement, I meant to take it off because we're no longer proposing an easement there.
Okay.
Both houses are on private well and private sewer, so there wouldn't be a utility easement as that is concerned. I'm not familiar with the power lines in this area, but right next to where we're proposing that small driveway, there is a power line there if needed someday, if something happens and the house needs to be serviced by a different power line. So I believe all the utility concerns would already be taken care of by what already exists as of now. But as far as an easement is concerned, we're not proposing anything anymore. It would just be straight access from that gravel driveway that we're proposing.
Okay. So then you'll make notes to adjust the mapping to.
Yep, I can write that down right now.
Will that driveway need a culvert from the road?
I am assuming so, yeah. That would just be as specified by the highway department, a 12 or 18-inch culvert, just in that part of the roadway, and then paved over with gravel.
As I was looking at this, I was also looking at the lot line layout, and when I first looked at it, and I didn't remember the project at first, my first glance, I'm like, all right, it looks like 4 lots on here instead of the 2 that are proposed. And obviously I understand that those 2 pieces are connected across the roadway. Was there a reason for the offset where the two properties are split along, was it Pucker Street?
That is purely to satisfy the client's requirement that the parcels are split evenly. So they're both mathematically split to 29.01 acres each. So that's kind of just how the math worked out for those.
Is there a way to adjust? So just looking at adjustments here, if your angle coming through the large portion of the property, if the angle of that line that ties up to the road were to shift to the west and tie in direct, could you make an adjustment on this line here to get that acreage back?
I could, that would be possible. There's no construction plan for the other side of the road. This is purely just wooded areas.
I think for like longevity, as people are looking at these properties down the road, if something changes hands, if that would be a lot cleaner if that line comes straight across that piece.
If that is something that you guys want to require, that's fine.
I don't know that it's necessarily a requirement, but if their only restriction is the acreage being the same, like tweaking this line a little bit to get that, you've got plenty of room there to, it's a little bit more work on your end, but, shift that line around a little bit to make it work. I think it would be cleaner. I don't know what the board's thoughts are on that. I'll refer to you guys.
Because it's a very, very small little.
So I can
jog it down.
So my thoughts, if you guys can see, my thoughts here where the line across the road comes across, that line ties into here. And what I'm suggesting is you move this line here, so it comes straight across the roadway to the second piece of where that parcel is, and you can adjust these lines to get the acreage to match. Not changing anything where the actual buildings are. So as a suggestion, I think it would look cleaner.
Okay, if that's what you guys prefer, I can certainly crunch the numbers for that.
Actually, that line will be kind of weird, right? It looks like it would go right through the house. You'd have like a jigsaw puzzle piece there. No?
Yeah, so the other piece of it too, when you did the description for it, it would get to this point and have to follow along this line before it cut across for the description. And legally, it's perfectly fine to do that. It's just when you're looking at a map, it makes it a little bit harder to visually just look at it quickly and understand where the lot lines are.
Yeah, I think there is an angle point. If you're looking right where that note is, adjacent to it, about an inch to the left, there's a small circle.
Yep.
That is an angle point that's already deeded. So I could just run that line straight up to that angle point. Yep, and then I can shift this angle point down here, down however far it needs to go. I don't think the one down here mathematically would shift that far, but just to kick it up, I think it would be like 108 feet to move that property line. If that,
that'd be nice.
if that's the requirement, I can write that down.
All right.
Wait, are we requiring that or is it?
No, it's a recommendation. It makes the mapping look cleaner in my mind. It's not a requirement, so if they push back and want to continue to go the path that they have it and they don't want anything changed on it, we can certainly review it like that.
I can certainly suggest.
Yeah, it's,
that.
to me, it looks like a cleaner map that way.
Sure.
And especially if they're not doing anything really with this side of the road.
They're really not planning on it. It's mostly just to keep the acreage that they own contiguous and the same size, that both sides of the family get an equal share.
Yep. All right. So just bear with me. I'm looking through our old checklist here. 57, 97, okay. So we did sketch plan application is complete last time. Do we have the subdivision application from you, or are you just looking for edits to the mapping just to check on that at this point?
Really just edits to the mapping.
Okay.
I kind of want to get, I know I've resolved all the other issues with the house, the driveway. I believe is the last thing that we need to resolve. So I'm kind of just looking to pick your guys' brain and
Yep.
know exactly what I need to give to my engineer so he can.
Did you look through the checklist for the requirements for the mapping? I'm assuming that you got everything that's on that list.
I did, yeah, we added the
We will
24
go through that and just make sure you got everything pointed out.
Yep, just to make sure. We got the 20-foot contours, the stream locations throughout the rest of the
Yep.
property.
Yep.
I can't remember the rest off the top of my head, but I know we went through that when we were drafting. Yep, we have now informal lease.
Yep.
I believe one of the other things was an ag data statement. We have that as well.
Okay.
The zoning information.
I will make a suggestion, so we have a stamp
You
for
guys
the
do have a
planning
stamp.
board, so,
Okay.
just a box in that spot there.
Do you want me to take that planning board endorsement out?
Yep, because, the stamp's got all that, language right on it.
Okay,
So just,
kind of like the town hunter then. Okay.
Yep, just before you head out, the stamp is in the office there, just for the size of it, because I believe it's taller than what you've got here, just to change the box so it fits in it. Or you can just take it off all completely.
I'll find room. I'll have to shift some
That's
stuff, but I'll find
that's the
room.
problem when you're dealing with somebody that does maps too.
Right,
I know what
I'm
you gotta
like,
go through
I
to.
gotta, I'll shift some stuff. I'll make it work. No worries. what I'm good at.
All right, so next time, when you're ready to come back, application fee of $150. If you want to get through seeker as well, if you want to have that set up for the next time you come back.
So I did come back I believe the last time I was here was November of 24.
Oh,
And I dropped off all that information. I believe I brought a check last time with the seeker information.
all right,
So
let's
I
check in
have
there.
that. Mainly before I head out, I would like to know what you guys are gonna require for this driveway. If there's any size requirements or anything to do with fire access, what,
So because that's gonna come from the town highway department, is the
all that
town-
comes from them. Okay.
all of it comes from the town highway.
They're gonna
department.
come put the culvert pipe in.
Yeah.
I imagine, so.
Are there any requirements like the size of the driveway or,
Yes.
okay,
I don't know what that is. Again, that's gonna come from the highway department as far as what the radiuses are and the width of the driveway and the culvert size, all of that's gonna come from the highway department because it's in the right of way for that portion of it before it goes to the property owner.
okay.
Amanda, would you be able to relay that information? And as long as you guys have contact information, we'll have Amanda send that to you. Contact here for the highway department.
Yeah.
To be able to talk with him.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
and once I have all that put onto the map, I can come back and hopefully get this move forward.
Yep, so I'm just wanted to check through. I don't see anything else in the file here, Amanda, just as far as you seeker and a check you believe were delivered then. So let's just,
Right, last time I came in 24. I do have some copies from that last meeting.
okay. Let's just double check before you leave and that way.
Yeah.
And I didn't take a look at that, local law number 1 of 2022, that's the driveway law. It doesn't really have specs in it, but confirming what Travis said, it comes from the highway department.
So all that information comes from them, so I can pick their brain and you'll get a driveway that's solid enough for everything to be fitting requirements.
Did they go out and look at it? The highway department, did they go out and look at where that is?
Not that I know of. I know Tim has been there, Tim, building inspector. I don't know if any of you guys have been out there. I don't think we've gotten to the site visit
Nope.
portion yet. But out, you can kind of see from the contours that are on it, it's pretty flat. It's all an open grass field. There's no obstructions.
I do have the site consent form checked off here. I just want to double check that it's in the
Yeah.
sketch plan application.
I do have a lot of documents
Yeah,
from
we
that
do.
last meeting. I
Yep.
can just hand them off to you.
That'd be great.
'Cause I
We
have
do have the
copies.
site consent form here in the file.
In there is also a photo of the electrical inspection, as well as an email from the client, I
Okay.
believe from November, saying that most of everything was done except for some other thing that was gonna get done in January.
Okay.
So that should be taken care of at the house.
Okay.
As far as the building, C of O is concerned.
So I'm thinking if we get to the point of making those couple changes to the mapping and subdivision, you got from EAF. Do you have updated proof of taxes paid?
I don't.
Okay.
No, the main purpose of this meeting was just to get it back on your guys' radar.
Yep.
And hopefully get a little bit more information as far as that
Yep.
driveway is concerned.
So
But-
I guess I'm just talking ahead, making sure you've got stuff on your checklist for next time.
Yep.
We'll double check on the application fee. You got your EAF here, so we can do seeker. I think that's really it, and then edits to the mapping. So we should be able to get through next time, get through seeker. We're only on a town road here, no county,
No, I don't believe so.
so we don't need to
Yeah, I
refer,
believe it's a town road.
so we don't need to refer to Albany County then. So, we should be able to get to the point at the next meeting, if everything looks good, to set up a public hearing.
Yep. Do you guys, need the proof of taxes for next meeting?
It's part of the checklist to make sure that that's
Okay.
paid for, so it'd be helpful.
So I'll just prepare fresh copies of all those,
Yep.
those documents as part of that checklist for next time.
Yeah, because we had that in 22.
Mhm.
Obviously, we just need to update that.
Okay, I'll just go through everything and make sure that all the paperwork is re-updated for now.
Yep.
Now that we're moving forward.
Okay. So then I think Amanda's just checking on the fee to make sure that that was paid, and then otherwise we should be good.
Okay, I will definitely make sure to send you guys PDFs of all the fresh documents once I
Yeah,
finish them.
that'd be great. Any other questions from the board? I kind of dominated that conversation.
No,
sorry.
once you started talking, I remembered all of it, and I was like, okay.
I'm trying not to remember it because I kind of want it off my plate. It's been a headache. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's the taxes from 22.
Yeah, I don't think I've checked the taxes again since then. I'm just preparing a sketch
No
plan for
need
you
to
guys to take a
until
look at.
No need to until you come back for this.
Like I said, I try to spend the least amount of time on this thing as I can, because I have a lot of other things that are on my plate too.
I'm sure.
So.
You need a.
I'll wait until we get the official. We're going paperless. these days.
Yeah.
Trying to.
It's good. All right, we'll just wait for Amanda to get back in here quick and then we'll move on to the next.
Sure.
That's- Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Bear with us just a minute.
Yeah, you're fine.
I don't know. I didn't,
She was when I had question.
okay.
Two new bear bears, I didn't see her since then.
They're here? No, they're coming. Yeah, yeah. I was just like, I was like,
haven't seen her since.
I think it's pretty funny too, at the same time.
So how do you guys like being on camera every week or every other week?
We never have viewers though, so.
Yeah.
We have one actually, Amanda's mom
Amanda's
generally watches
mother.
us and cheers us on.
Every once in a while, Randy.
Randy will
But
watch
that's
folk
it.
in, but no, we never really get a crowd.
I usually watch them back.
Yeah.
Depending on, I'll go on YouTube and just
Yeah.
kind of catch up and see what things are at. Try to stay up to speed on things happening in town.
I know it's riveting.
All of these things, yeah.
Hmm?
What's the difference?
Reputedly?
Yeah.
So now formally
Yeah.
posits that we have pulled the deed from the county. LS has reviewed it. Reputedly just means that's what the GIS says. That's what the tax mapping says.
Gotcha.
So it's a difference between how much effort we put into actually researching who actually lives there. Which is also covered on why it says now or formerly.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that mapping was produced in 2022. Somebody might have moved away since then. That is still who was there at the time, who owned it. That's why it just says now and or formerly. So just a weird language.
Yeah,
So,
it's good, I didn't see that.
Do you want to just check and see if she's found anything down there?
Yeah, sure.
And if not, what I'll have her do is just email you. If we've got it on record here, then.
okay,
rather
I
than-
can search back at the office. I keep everything categorized. So
Yep.
look for a receipt and I can send it to you guys.
Perfect. Rather than hold you up and hold these folks up. we can
Yeah,
just
I'll,
follow up on
I'll
that.
search for that tomorrow. I'll
Yep.
make a note of that and I'll make sure to let you guys know.
Yep.
And that's the receipt for the sketch plan application.
Yeah, it's $150 fee.
Sorry. Chit chatting with Vicky.
Do we have it? Okay, perfect.
I actually never gave this to you,
Oh,
but
okay,
it's a receipt for the receipt.
awesome. Thank you. I'll take that and make sure. I
So
make a
one
copy.
less thing we need to do.
Right. That's why I keep notes, because I can't remember.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
All
All
right.
right.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you,
in.
guys.
Have a good night.
Yep, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Do you want your?
Yeah, sure. They're just gonna go in the garbage when I get back. I'm gonna make
Oh,
changes,
those
so
are really good.
I have to. We'll recycle everything.
I'll take one.
My,
I
my,
repurposed them.
right, my coworker,
There
he
you go.
brings them home to his kid
Yes,
and he
it is
uses them for
Christmas
sketch paper,
Be
so
really cool.
they're useful in that way. Thank
Thank
you.
Thanks. All right, next we have Trinity Lane Schoolhouse Historic Review.
Hi.
How are we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
My name is Carl, I'm the architect, based out of Athens, and this is Adele and Andreas, who are the homeowners.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
This is kind of minor, we're doing an interior renovation, but the one aspect of the project is about the windows. So we are, right now, one of the areas in the house that we're renovating is a family room, and it's got a porch from the front, and there's no windows to the backyard at all. It's dark. So we're proposing to do some new windows on the back. And because the porch is on the front, it's also a lot of shadow on that elevation. That's because of the porch. So we're proposing another window on the front. So this is a rendering slash photo montage of the house as you're viewing it. I don't know if you know the property, but it's right by the church and you kind of go up that hill. So it's kind of high up. You're not really seeing too much from the road, but this is the front porch. And this is an addition that was done sometime in the 2000s, like the early 2000s. The main house, which was from the historical component, we're not touching at all. So we're proposing a new window on the front elevation adjacent to these windows here. So it's kind of window, window, window. So it's kind of balancing underneath the porch. And then on the back of that same 2000s addition, which faces the backyard, right now you can see this facade has no windows in that room at all. We're proposing to balance it out and do 3 windows, 3 sets of shutters to match. Just keep that back rear yard elevation just nice and simple.
I will say that when I first looked at this, I
Yeah.
looked at the rendering with the windows in it.
Yeah, me
And I thought it was what was there.
Oh,
So-
well, that's what we're trying to make it like it's always
So,
there.
so when you're doing this work, what do you think the reason was? Because I agree, it looks fantastic.
Yeah,
Like,
oh,
with
yeah.
windows in there, so what do you
Should
think
be.
the reason was to
Why
not
they
do
didn't,
something like that?
yeah.
Can you think of one?
Well, right now, when you go in that room, it's just a wall of bookcases. So I guess they wanted it to be like a library,
Yeah.
or, so, a dark room, I don't know. like,
No
but it
need,
was,
no need to put windows in if you're just gonna fill the walls.
Yeah, so it's just a wall of bookcases. So those are gonna come out so we can get, so you can see the backyard. It's really pretty back there. And then there's a little appendage that's kind of tacked on, that's a mudroom and a kitchen right now. And we're proposing a new window over the kitchen sink, which faces this kind of outdoor eating area. And then right now there's a window in the kind of laundry mudroom area where we're proposing a door. In place of, yeah. So it's just to get, circulation in and out of the house kind of easily. So everything else is interior. We're doing, we're like redoing the bathrooms, renovating the bathrooms. So I've been talking with Tim about that. New flooring, painting,
Beautiful.
some cabinetry, but we're not doing the kitchen, but yeah, it's a nice little project. But so this is what we're asking for your review on, for the new windows and the door in the back. Yeah.
For materials purposes,
Yeah.
how close are you able to match?
Oh,
the-
direct match,
Okay.
direct match.
Okay.
The windows that were installed in the addition, actually, they were replaced throughout. They're a Marvin window. It's a true divided light. It meets the energy code and it looks beautiful. It's a wood window. Aluminum clad on the outside, but everything will match in kind.
Yeah,
So
they still make it.
yeah, they still make it.
Yeah.
Same with the shutters. The shutters are going to match. The hardware for the shutters will match. And then the siding will just get feathered back in, which is a pretty basic clapboard.
And the thoughts on the door, I see the glazing on the doors is slightly different, but there's nothing there is there anything door-wise to match what's?
Yeah, there is. I don't have a photo of that, but there is a door that's off the kitchen. That's a patio door. That is, it's a French door, divided lights up and all the way down full height, and that's what we're planning to match. So, yeah,
Perfect.
true divided lights also for that.
In the plans here, I know you provided this was the copy that was dropped off to the town.
Yeah.
I just did a quick look through it earlier. Is there material specifications there for the existing? Do you spell out anywhere what the existing windows and the proposed windows are going to be? Just so we've got that on record, documented.
Yes, I do. Yeah, there's a set of window and door details.
Yep.
That call out the unit type, what it's matching, the finishes, what it's matching, what's existing and what's proposed.
And that's all in here?
Yeah.
Could you just point that out just so I don't
Yeah.
have to
Flip. Yeah, sure.
flip through? Yeah.
It's I think it's the last sheet actually.
That's where we put all the details.
Yeah, you put them at the back so no one can see them. That's how it goes.
The most important stuff goes in the back.
Yeah, okay. Right, so here we go. So this is the style, the reserved traditional, that's the size. And it might be,
There's your there. I see your note. It's in red.
okay, there we go.
Match this model style and unit, existing windows. Yep. Okay.
Color and, all to be verified prior to order and installation. Okay.
Okay. All right, excellent. And then is there anything is that for both windows and doors? Do we know both there?
Yes, well, it should be for both because I'm showing both here, existing windows and style. I can write it in, or, this is a preliminary set that I asked him to, because we don't have a builder either, so I haven't made an official application for permit yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Do we want any changes? Because these are the plans that'll go on file with this. I'm assuming we want updated plans that just provides those notes for it. What's the board's thoughts on procedural? It's been a long time since I only did one of these when I was on the board for Matt. What was your? I know your most recent meetings, you've gone through some historical appropriateness, things that came through.
Looks great. I think it keeps the look. Honestly, I think it looks better.
I think it looks better.
Yeah.
And conveniently being the addition, you can match it. So
Yeah.
nicely. It's so
So
You should have seen what they wanted to do the 1860 side.
procedurally, I guess what are our next steps here? Because we're going to want a revised set of plans that reflect the notes that we just talked about.
Right.
Is it an option to approve contingent on updated plans? These are.
So we can, the planning board can hold a public hearing if it deems it appropriate. It's in the board's discretion, but I think this application
I think
kind of
it's fine.
spells
That's
out
perfect. I think he's got
everything.
everything in there correct. Just some few.
I mean, I
little
can
verbiage.
write an initial, because it's just door, right? It says existing windows. I can add the door to that.
I'd rather have an updated plan.
Okay.
Updated because this is going to go in the
Or
file.
updated
And
on
that
one
plan
page.
will have-
Yeah, they're just
There's
the
a
one
shared
page.
Don't print
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Simply
Yeah, that's
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, but it will be updated
To
with.
fully
Yeah, so you do that
Yeah.
single page with
Yeah.
updated the notes,
Perfect.
and we can staple it to the back here as long as it's stamped with you're gonna put your stamp on it for that page, then that's all the update would need. You don't need a full new set of plans for
Okay,
that,
great.
because nothing else changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm comfortable with it.
So,
I'm not comfortable with just little updates.
I don't want to be the only person to make a decision on if the board wants to do a public hearing. Do we have to put that to a vote for that, just so everybody's
If
noted?
that's how we want to gauge the consensus, just to take everyone's temperature on it, see what we think.
Seems
Make
pretty
it
good to me.
Does anybody have strong feelings towards a public hearing for this project?
No, no.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
We'll do it that way. All right, so we just need, what's the motion here for?
So I think we should just do a motion, classify it type 2 exempt for seeker, no environmental review.
Okay.
And then we would do a motion to approve the project, conditionally approve the project and issue the historic appropriateness permit based upon these changes we identified. The updated map or project
sure.
plan.
Quite simply, you could fix that. I'm sure people will show up.
Type 2 action, not needing.
Type 2 action exempt from environmental review.
So I'll accept the motion to classify this project as a type 2 action, exempt from environmental review.
Make a motion.
Motion by Brad. Yeah, there we go.
Second.
Second by Dominic. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And then we can accept this conditionally. Is that the next piece?
I think it would be appropriate for someone to make a motion to conditionally approve the historic use certificate of historic appropriateness subject to the applicant revising the plan as discussed. I forget exactly what we said.
The note on, yeah.
Adding the note.
Adding the
Yeah,
note
simply
about
the door.
So I'm gonna butcher that.
You-
Correct me if I.
I'll make a motion, but you get it clear on what you want written down.
Well, that's for Amanda. Okay, so we'll need a motion to, is it approve historical appropriateness? Approve the historical appropriateness, is that the right?
Conditionally approve the historic appropriateness review.
Okay,
That's a mouthful already.
so I'm gonna list it differently a little bit, just for my own understanding. So my motion is going to be to approve this conditioned on revisions to the mapping supplied to the town. if we could do it that way.
Yeah, to the note associated with the windows and doors.
Correct.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Did you get all that, Amanda? You sure? Okay.
But I wouldn't say mapping, right? But to the, yeah, to the detailed notes.
We
Yeah.
can-
Proposed plan.
All right, so we're gonna start over. We're gonna try to get this.
Get the verbiage
Okay,
right.
so I'm gonna make a motion to approve the Trinity Lane Schoolhouse project for historical appropriateness, conditioned on updates to page A7 of the project plans with revisions to the window and door details. Does that work for everybody? Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Dominic. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So then as you,
Thank you. Thank you.
when you have those, send those to Tim. Does that make the most sense, Amanda?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we'll put that in with the file.
Great.
So you're conditionally approved until you put that in.
That's the way I'm at home too.
There you go.
Definitely approved.
There you go.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have a
Thanks
great.
for working with us as we muddle through that.
We were hoping to meet more people at the public hearing, but.
There will be one sooner or later.
When they do their
Have a nice
addition.
night.
There you go. Once you start messing with the original building,
Yeah.
then.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
All right, so. I will accept a motion to go into executive session for, was it employment, promotion, personnel? Okay, I need a motion. Motion by Brad, second.
Second.
Second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And the lights.